So now I would like to introduce reading with myself, the poor soul, Mr. Joseph Turrent. So, hey Joe, we've actually never met before. It's really lovely.
Not in person.
No, it's such a pleasure. So, something you won't know about, well, some of you don't know me at all, but those who do know me, I'm actually a doctor of parasitology, as well as a poet. And Joseph is too, Dr. Joseph Turrent. Some of you will know what parasitology is, of course, others won't. Joseph, what's parasitology?
Thank you for asking, Stephen. Parasitology is the study of parasites. In my own work, and to a certain extent in yours,
Yes.
That's specifically around the kind of parasites that emerged, as we all know, around the year 2060.
Yes.
That target humans specifically and aim to change the behaviour of humans.
Dangerous bugs. So essentially, I was the editor of a magazine for a very long time, and I was commissioning people to write articles. So all we're going to do, I'm sorry it's a little bit boring, is reading our scientific notes. So Joseph is going to read the articles that he wrote for me, excerpts, and I'm just going to read the editorial feedback I gave him for those articles. Please.
Penis-eating louse. The penis-eating louse enters male humans, typically aged 18 to 39, through the anus. It severs the blood vessels in the prostate gland, causing the erectile tissue to fall off. It then attaches itself to the remaining stub of the penis and extracts blood through the claws on its front. Clarification needed. Causing the penis to atrophy from lack of blood, the parasite then replaces the penis by attaching its own body to the pubic bone. It appears that the parasite does not cause much other damage to the host, but it has been reported by Lansing and O'Connor, 2074, that infested men with 2 or more of the parasites are usually underweight. Once the parasite replaces the penis, some feed on the host's blood, and many others feed on human mucus.
So I'm just going to read my editorial feedback that I sent via email to that. Joseph, great job on this entry. This one can definitely be included in the August issue. Thanks so much for turning this around so quickly. I know the PEL, penis eating louse for those not in the trade, is an especially difficult one to write about. Nasty business. It can't have been easy for you after what happened out in Siberia. One final note on this one, to your last sentence. Ask Reynolds and O'Connor, but also have you tried Dr. Andrew Wells on what happens to them in the wild once it's left the head? I think he microcamed one with her Japanese nanotech and found at least a dozen were burrowing into the anus of many different kinds of animals, hippos and crocodiles especially. Ask Andrew, tell him I said.
The next one is about the Enceladian broodsac. The Enceladian broodsac is typically found in humans of Europe and North America. The worm in its larval myristodia stage travels into the digestive system of a human to develop into the next stage, which is a sporocyst. Sporocyst grows into long tubes to form swollen brood sacs filled with tens to hundreds of cercari. These brood sacs invade the human's optic nerve, preferring the left when available, causing a brilliant transformation of the iris into a swollen, pulsating, colourful display that mimics the appearance of a grub mated to Enceladus, a moon of Saturn, as we all know. The brood sacs seem to pulsate in response to light intensity, and in total darkness do not pulse at all. The infection of the eye seems to inhibit the perception of light intensity, whereas uninfected humans seek dark areas to prevent predation by invasive species.
Of course.
The infected humans have a deficit in light detection, and that means that they're more likely to leave themselves exposed. In a study done in Poland, 53% of infected humans sat in public squares or on rooftops and stood beneath streetlights to a greater extent than uninfected humans.
It was a really sad Polish day. So my note on this one, not it's critical, I hope you don't mind me reading this
Shoot.
out loud, sorry. Not sure on this one, Joseph. I hope it isn't rude of me to say, but I think you've overreached. I understand your research is important, but the work needs doing properly. This is science, Joe, not conspiracy corner. Everyone and their mother knows that the worm is found in Anatolia. Is that Europe? Might be worth avoiding controversy and throwing in the word Asia. Also, yes, more importantly, you've spelt sporicist wrong. I do like your description of the iris swell, though perhaps science might give way to a career in poetry. Good job on the snail cycle, and again, elegant description of the moth shitmouth. Also, quick cue, have you seen the Singaporean aardvark eat those fuckers? It's amazing to watch. Like me at an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet without the $6.99 price tag and the brutal diarrhea. Also, dystones is spelt wrong. Use your spell checker. Have to say, really enjoyed Centre Parks. Thanks for the tickets.
Indeed, I will agree to disagree. The third paper that we have is about the pubic barnacle. A female Satulina hominin larva settles on a suitable human host and crawls across its surface until it finds a suitable spot, such as the armpit or knee pit. It then develops into a form called a kentragon, which inserts a stylet into the skin and pushes its way inside. From there, it moves through the inside of the human in due course, pushing out a sac, known as an externa, on the underside of the groin. The part remaining inside, the interna, develops tendrils which spread throughout the human. They absorb nourishment and enable the parasite to control the behaviour of its hosts. The presence of the parasite retards the development of the human's gonads, which eventually atrophy. The parasite causes the male to develop certain feminine characteristics, including the broadening of its abdomen, while in females the abdomen becomes narrower and the mammaries degenerate. The eggs of the parasite develop in the externa, and both male and female humans carry these eggs around, secured to their perineum. If the parasite is experimentally removed from the host, female humans will usually regenerate their ovaries, but in males, sex reversal takes place, and they develop ovarian tissue. The behaviour of the host is manipulated to the extent that it no longer grows, washes, or seeks medical attention for any limbs that are lost. And when the parasite eggs are ready for release, it will climb onto a rock, bob about to release them, and waft them on their way.
Editor's note. As you know, I've been having a difficult time. Certainly there is a lot going on. The PB, the pubic barnacle, is no joke, and you can imagine how I felt opening this email attachment. Thanks a billion. I'll tell you now, something maybe you can add in your scholarly science, faux Feynman, positivist poet stylings. Burning doesn't help at all. In terms of the content here, I love the Latin. Absolutely brilliant, you're able to make this stuff up, and it reads so authentic. Not to make this personal again, as I'm aware it's irrelevant in the context of the journal, but I'm not sure I can verify some of your theories here. I know you're bitter about what happened to Hardman and the rest, but it's not all bad. Maybe symbiosis really is the future, like they said. Maybe it's no better or worse, just different. I have to say too, I think I had already finished growing. All limbs remain more or less attached, and I've seen my doctor twice. It doesn't take control, it elevates you. It allows you to become who you've always meant to be. It's something that feels new and familiar at the same time as perhaps it should. I'm certainly eating healthy grey foods and listening to lots of folk music, so perhaps you can dial down your sardonic, sarcastic, self-righteous tone back in this one, and we can look to publication next summer for the usual thing.
Dr. Stephen J. Fowler, who has died aged 35, was a controversial biologist who found infamy as the editor of the journal Parasites of the Symbiocene. After a distinguished career in mid-tier academia, hailed by some as an important guardian of traditional values in an era of transformational human evolution, Fowler was nonetheless a divisive figure. His association with radical groups often overshadowed his academic output, and he will be remembered for his presence on a leaked list of public intellectuals placed on the terrorism watch list by MI6, as well as the unfortunately ironic speculation concerning his cause of death. Fowler's relationship with Her Majesty's government continued to decline in his final years as he railed with characteristic verve against the Plant-Human Assimilation Act of 2089. His editorship came into question after a series of scandals related to plagiarism and professional standards, with critics singling out work by Dr. Joseph Turrent, in particular, as face-slappingly dubious. Even in death, Fowler continues to provoke controversy, with some commentators crying foul as we go to press. The coroner's verdict remains redacted in the public record. He leaves behind his collection of carnivorous flora, no biologically verified children, and an extensive library of erotica. His ashes will be available for visitors at St Joseph's Crematorium, Kentish Town, London, on Wednesday, July 2nd. Opening hour restrictions apply. See website.
Reading next will be Andrew Wells and Richard Skinner.